Are you in a relationship and secretly wondering, is this really the one? You love them. You've been together for a while. Maybe you've even imagined your future together. But still, there's that quiet pause. That's something you can't quite name. What if I told you there's a way to know, with 90% accuracy, whether your relationship is built to last or not? Does 90% sound comforting or terrifying? After studying thousands of couples for over 40 years, researchers at the Gottman Institute discovered that all relationships fall into just 5 types, and based on those types, they can predict who stays together and who breaks up. So, what type of couple are you? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where your relationship stands and what it could mean for your future. Type number 1, conflict avoiders. Let's be honest. Conflict avoider doesn't exactly sound like couple goals. It brings up images of 2 people politely ignoring the giant emotional elephant in the room, sipping tea and pretending everything's just fine, while silently wondering why they're always the one doing the dishes or throwing out the trash. But here's the surprising truth. According to the Gottman Institute, conflict-avoidant couples are in fact stable, loving, and committed. They just have a different strategy. Minimize the friction while maximize the harmony. These couples focus on what they do agree with, their own shared values and their long-term goals. They've likely built a relationship on compatibility and routine. And honestly, they're fine with that. But here's the catch. In the name of peace, they often sweep their real needs under the rug. They don't talk about the little disappointments, the unmet expectations, or the things that slowly chip away at closeness. Because, hey, why start an argument if everything is mostly okay, right? Here are the typical traits of a conflict-avoidant couple. Saying things like, "We don't fight. Ever." With a slightly strained smile and a twitching eye. Doing the same chores over again with a silent sigh, instead of speaking up and asking, "Hey, could you help out more?" Avoiding tough conversations by spending more time at work, or zoning out with Netflix and separate snacks. Shutting down a mid-argument with a silently, "Forget it, it's not worth it," and walking away before things get too uncomfortable. Conflict avoidant. Couples can be happy. They're usually peaceful, polite, and enjoy a sense of calm that more fiery couples envy. But if you overlooking it, that peace can become distance. When you never express your deeper needs, you are risking drifting apart. Not because of what you fight about, but because of what you never say. The real challenge for this couple type is learning that the conflicts or disagreements doesn't always need to be avoided. It can also lead to a deeper connection. The rate of success for the conflict-avoidant couple is moderate, but there is the risk of growing apart emotionally over time. Type number 2, volatile couples. Volatile couples sound, well, volatile. Like, are we talking raised voices and flying throw pillows? Sometimes yes, but not always in a bad way. According to the Gottman Institute, volatile couples thrive on passion, both in love and in disagreement. These couples argue loudly quite often, but here's the twist. They don't shy away from it. In fact, their frequent disagreements are actually a sign of how emotionally engaged they are. They're expressive, opinionated, and honest to a fault. For them, the conflict isn't a threat. It's a foreplay, forewarning, and for everything. Disagreements don't necessarily shake their foundation. In fact, it's part of how they connect. This kind of couple can be incredibly affectionate and romantic. Think lots of kissing and yelling, often in the same 5 minutes. They're like the emotional equivalent of hot sauce, intense, sometimes messy, but oddly addictive. The typical traits of a volatile couple are having a passionate argument in the middle of making dinner, only to be laughing and kissing 5 minutes later. Saying, "I can't believe you did that," followed by, "You're the only person who makes me feel this alive." Needing to talk it out right now. even if it's midnight and you both have work in the morning. Interrupting each other constantly, not out of rudeness, but because you're both just that, into the conversation. Volatile couples can be incredibly strong as long as their arguments stay respectful and don't turn toxic. The key for these couples is to make sure that passion doesn't blur into blame or hostility. When managed well, their energy and emotional honesty can lead to deep connection and lasting love. But if left unchecked, that fire? Yeah, it can burn down the house. The rate of success is moderate to high, as long as repair follows conflict. Type number 3, validating couples. Now these two? They're the type of couple everyone else looks at and thinks, wow, they really have it together. Validating couples are kind, respectful, and emotionally supportive, even when they disagree. They value compromise, talk things out calmly, and often make decisions as a team. It's the kind of relationship that feels like a well-oiled machine, steady, thoughtful, and relatively drama-free. They're not necessarily avoiding conflict, and they're not lighting fireworks over every disagreement either. Instead, they take a middle path. They argue, but it's balanced, civil, sometimes even sweet. This couple is emotionally in tune. They validate each other's feelings. They listen actively, and they tend to view disagreements as opportunities to understand each other better, not win. Typical traits of a validating couple. Always checking in after a disagreement with a sincere, "Are we okay?" C. Taking turns to speak during arguments as if they're co-hosting a relationship podcast. Using the word "we" more than "I", as in, "We're stressed lately, maybe we should plan a weekend away." Validating couples do well because they balance emotional closeness with respect for each other's individuality. Their strength lies in their ability to stay connected even during disagreements. But no couple is perfect. If they're not careful, they might prioritize harmony so much that they avoid digging into deeper issues that need more than just kind words. The challenge for validating couples? Not settling for surface-level peace when deeper connection is needed. Because even strong communication needs real vulnerability to grow. Rate of success is at its highest of all. Type number 4, hostile couples. Okay, buckle up, because this one, it's the relationship that looks like a slow-motion car crash. You want to look away, but you can't. Hostile couples are stuck in a loop of criticism, defensiveness, and contempt. There's tension, sarcasm, maybe even eye-rolling that could qualify as an Olympic sport. These couples fight a lot, but it's not like the fiery passion of volatile couples. It's different. It feels cold, heavy, draining. Instead of solving problems, they linger in the same unresolved arguments, often using past mistakes as ammo. Every disagreement turns into a point-scoring match, and the emotional connection. It's hanging on by a thread. These couples often stay together, sometimes for years, but the relationship slowly erodes. Love is still there, maybe, but it's buried under resentment, unmet needs, and 1,000 "you always" or "you never" sort of statements. They read typical traits of a hostile couple, saying things like, "Why am I even surprised? You always mess this up." Repeating the same fight from 2018 every time someone forgets to do the dishes. One person expressing a need and the other immediately shutting down or mocking it. Disagreements that escalate fast, with zero resolution, and emotional bruises left behind. Think of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but without the spy gear and way more awkward dinner scenes. Hostile couples don't just argue. They fight in ways that make each other feel unseen, unheard, and unsafe. And over time, That emotional erosion can feel like living with a roommate who's keeping score on everything you do wrong. But here's the thing. If both partners are willing to do the work, it's not too late. Hostile dynamics often come from pain and unmet needs, not just bad tempers. With therapy, vulnerability, and a lot of unlearning, these couples can start to rebuild trust, but they have to want it. Because if nothing changes, this is the couple most likely to end in separation or live in quiet misery. Rate of success is low. Negativity dominates the bond. Type number 5. Hostile-detached couples. If hostile couples are locked in battle, hostile-detached couples have already left the battlefield. This is the couple that sits across from each other in silence at dinner. The couple that doesn't argue anymore. Not because everything's fine, but because they've stopped trying, stopped caring, stopped connecting. According to the Gottman Institute, hostile detached couples are the most at risk. There's emotional distance, constant disconnection, and a kind of cold indifference that's more painful than yelling. Because at least yelling means you still care. This type of couple often has a long history of unresolved conflict. Over time, they've grown tired, cynical, and emotionally numb. They simply coexist. They go through the motions. But the relationship? It's on life support, kind of. Typical traits of a hostile detached couple: giving one-word answers or silent treatments, not out of anger, but out of apathy. Spending hours scrolling through their phones just to avoid making eye contact. Not even noticing or caring that the other person didn't come home until 2 a.m. Talking about each other instead of talking to each other. He never listens, or being like, she's always like that. These are the couples that's emotionally divorced, even if they're still sharing a bed. Hostile detached couples don't fight to be right anymore. They've just stopped fighting for the relationship. And that emotional withdrawal, it's often the final stage before a full collapse. But as bleak as that sounds, there is still a sliver of hope. If even one partner decides to re-engage through therapy, vulnerability, or honest conversation, there's a chance to break the silence. The hardest part: relearning how to feel again. Rate of success is very low, often a sign the end is near. Now, I'm curious, which one sounded a little too familiar for you? Do you see yourself in the calm compromise of the validating couple, or the passionate roller coaster of the volatile couple? Maybe you're realizing you've been avoiding conflict for years, just like the conflict avoiders, or you're stuck in constant arguments with no resolution like the hostile, or worse, hostile detached. Here's the truth. There's no perfect couple type. Every relationship has its own seasons, with moments of connection, moments of chaos, or moments of quiet drifting. What matters is, what do you do with the awareness once you see it? Because the minute you understand your pattern and your dynamic is the minute you get the power to change it. If your relationship feels stuck, it doesn't mean it's doomed. Sometimes, all it takes is one real conversation, or one decision to try again, with real intention this time. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So please drop a comment below and let me know which couple type you think you are. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more interesting videos. Thanks for watching.